Hunger strikes me as a surprisingly complicated topic for something that is so natural, universal. All of us experience hunger. Hunger of the body for food or for touch, but hunger even in the case of other kinds of desires, things that we want. And yet, what we want and the satisfaction of what we want becomes tricky. We're often taught not to trust the hungers of our body, especially if our bodies are the wrong shape. Then we're taught that our body doesn't actually know what we need, what we want. And if our feelings of lust are for the wrong kind of person, we're taught not to trust what we want, what we long for. That feeling of desire becomes twisted, becomes tamped down, becomes inflated. We're taught as much to want things as we are to not want things simultaneously. And so we live in a world full of advertising instructing us to want things that we didn't know we wanted, oftentimes things we didn't even know existed. And we live in an entire wash of the creation of desire. And yet at the same time, we are told that our lives are too cluttered and that we need to simplify and that we are too consumeristic and that our wanting things is immoral and unecological and wrong. And it doesn't seem to me that we are very often taught to cherish what we have, to enjoy what's with us, to find things that we do long for and go for them, to work for what we want, to recognize the difference between something that is a true heartfelt desire and something that is constructed and is really trying to serve a need that it doesn't serve, because it turns out that if what you are hungering for is connection, buying clothes is probably not actually going to feed that hunger. But it gets even more complicated than that, because our values, our Unitarian Universalist religion teaches us to hunger for growth, for learning, for improvement. And we are taught to hunger for justice, to hunger for a world made right. And those hungers are real and they're good and they're important. And you never get to the point of those hungers being satisfied. There is no point at which you become perfectly good, perfectly compassionate, perfectly fierce, perfectly kind, perfectly committed, perfectly knowledgeable. You never get there. And there has never in history been a point in time where the world has been fully righteous and fully at peace. And we are taught to only live into the hunger and never live into the satisfaction of that hunger. And so sometimes I think it's possible, maybe just possible, for that good, authentic, important hunger to become a kind of dissatisfied grasping in a world that is full of outrageous injustice, things happening every day that are just stunning in their wrongness. It is in fact hard not to live in a constant state of rage and or depression. There's so much that is wrong, and we are supposed to fix it. We are supposed to fix it. We are supposed to hunger for justice. And yet, I think it is possible also to find the moments when we are fed, to look for the moments when we are satisfied, because that constant state of outrage doesn't actually fix anything. And so maybe it is possible to say, I will make one phone call a day and call it good and say, that was useful. I did my piece. Even that wasn't useful and I did my piece. It's possible to make one donation a month and say, that was something. It is possible to celebrate accomplishments, to take the moment with the people that we work with to say, yes, that was good. Not everything is perfect and we're done, but yes, that was good. It's possible to find the places where your joy and the world's needs connect. Maybe you find joy in tutoring children, in cooking for people, in conversations with strangers. And it's okay to find joy, to find satisfaction, to be fed by what feeds the world. It's okay to choose what works for you. I've realized that as a highly indecisive person who never quite knows the right thing to do in any moment, I have a really hard time deciding what to do when I'm asked for money by people on the street. I just find that what is the right thing? How do I know the right amount to give? Should I give to this person? I don't know what to do with that. And so my personal conclusion is that I have an automatic withdrawal from my bank account every month that goes to my county food bank. And that's a choice that works for me. Now, your joy might be in those encounters with strangers and the ability to do a little something for somebody in the moment. And that's okay too. Neither of those is wrong. Finding the way of making the world just a little bit better that's consonant with you, with how you work in the world, that feels satisfying is okay. And maybe that's what makes a path through the complications, is to know that none of us is perfect and all of us are called to grow. And the world needs us, and the world is not going to be perfect. And yet, in the middle of it, we could be okay. Who we are could be a thing that we are happy with. What the world is in all of its difficulties and genuine outright horrors could be a place that we are satisfied with, whose beauty we revel in, where we know that however the journey goes, whatever the bumps along the way, whatever it is that we accomplish or fail to accomplish, we are, and it is, ultimately enough.